Yo, what's good guys? This is Chris from WearTesters.com. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got the performance review on the Nike Zoom Rize. So the traction on these guys right here is just freaking amazing. Like, it's one of my favorite shoes to play in as of right now. I do think it's Nike's best basketball shoe at the moment, which previously went to the Nike KD12. But these guys right here, they just go through anything, man. It doesn't matter if your floor is dirty, if it's clean, if you're outside, inside. These guys right here, they're just very, very grippy. I absolutely love it. Obviously everything that we're doing right here right now is like not like in-game and all that stuff. I prefer to do overlays with actual in-game footage if we're going to use any of that stuff, just because you can see a real reaction versus fake stuff that you see just to like give you some visuals and everything. But if we were going to recreate any type of move, especially for someone like me as a shooter, shooters seem to get like a bad rap. For some reason people think that we just stand there, catch and shoot, like that's all we do. That's not what we do. We actually log more miles in our sneakers than anybody else on the court, because a scorer is only really moving when they have the ball. They're only worried about their own stats for the most part. So if they don't have the ball, they seem to be ineffective on the floor usually. Versus a shooter, if I'm not with the ball, which is 9 times out of 10, because I'm not the one running the floor and everything like that, I'm not a point guard at that particular moment, what I'm actually doing is covering the court. So if I'm down here, we're doing an inbound play, all that stuff inbounds up there at the top of the key, I'm gonna fake a defender, I'm gonna pull over here, and then I'm gonna move around the screen, and it's at that point that somebody's going to pass me the ball and I'm gonna do something. If you're a good shooter, your defender's gonna be trailing you, obviously, and as long as you don't only shoot, so you gotta make sure that they respect the shot enough to guard it, but at the same time you gotta also alternate and things like that. So if you are heavily guarded, you can, you know what I'm saying, and then you can move towards the basket and all that stuff. And when you do those types of things, traction is very important, because you are covering more court area than anybody else on the floor. I don't care what nobody says, shooters run because we got to get open. Again, for example, pretend I don't have the ball. If I'm coming off of a inbound thing, I'm going to come this way. Say the cameraman, my wife, is my screener, right? So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to cut in as tight as possible, hopefully rub shoulders on them. Coming across, they're going to brush open, I'm going to catch and then shoot it. Those are the things that traction is great for, these shoes being one of those shoes that is able to cover anybody. So if you are that scorer, you're that ISO player, these guys are going to get you covered. If you're a shooter, you're constantly moving, cutting, running around screens, dropping into the basket and then back up trying to get for an open shot, these guys got you covered as well. Now, because we move around the court so much, cushion is actually important. It's not the thing that I hold personally, like in highest regard. When I was younger, it was. I wanted to be able to feel the cushion, because I felt like if you can't feel it, it's not doing anything, which is actually not true. However, if you are one of those guys, you're one of those guys that you want to slip on a shoe and you like, yo, you feel that? That's what these guys are right here. So the cushion setup on these guys is a 4-foot Zoom Air unit. It's 10 millimeters thick, so from the inside, that's what it is, it's 10 millimeters. It's a very thick Zoom Air unit, and then it's got 20 pounds per square inch basically, so it's a very heavily inflated bag, so it's not going to collapse on you and all that stuff and make you feel kind of tippy. And then on top of that, they encased it in this nylon foam along with a rubber cage, which is also where the outrigger is. And then hopefully you guys can see all of this space, but that's essentially where the Zoom Air unit is. It's all of this. It's a massive Zoom unit. It's got a lot of 4-foot coverage. So again, if you're constantly moving, you want that cushion. You've got all of that stuff. The greatest part about it is that it's large enough in volume and in PSI to where you're able to feel that Zoom Air feeling. Like, these guys feel super bouncy in the 4-foot, but because they enclosed it in all of the rubber and all of the nylon foam, it's not unstable or anything like that. So again, as a shooter, I'm moving constantly. I'm constantly coming around a screen, and I need support here, I need support here. So when I'm maneuvering, all of that, I'm covered, and I can reestablish, get my footing right underneath me and get up for a shot super easy. All of those things are great for shooters, but more importantly, it's great for everybody on the floor. So it's not a specific attribute that's like, oh, a shooter needs that. It's like, no, everybody on the court needs stability. They need to be able to maneuver while still having that cushioned feeling, and that's what these guys give you. There is no cushion in the rear of the shoe. However, the heel and the rest of the midsole, the foam that they use, is extremely comfortable. Like, I'm not even joking. I can't explain to you how good it feels. It's just, you got to try it on. If you got these in a store anywhere anywhere, whether it be like a team store like Dick's or maybe Champs. I haven't seen them at a Foot Locker, but hopefully they're available in store somewhere. But this is a shoe, I guarantee you try it on and you're gonna be like, man, well, like, what has Nike been doing with Zoom Air for the past like 7 years? Because this guy right here, this is where it's at. Now the materials are, honestly, they're nothing special. It's a basic textile, basically what you see on the majority of basketball sneakers today. Now with the basic textile, it could be pretty cheap and it could also be kind of flimsy feeling, but what they've done to kind of combat that is they layered it inside with all of this nylon. So all of this stuff right here won't overstretch. Like, I'm pushing my finger through it and that's about as much stretch as it'll go through, which is great. While the materials are cheap, they do get the job done. And then they do have some overlays, this like TPU kind of overlay, the heat welded stuff, and that's for like toe drag area, just to give a buffer between whatever might be touching the material, because this is kind of soft. That way it doesn't damage it too bad. It would have been nice to have had something right around here for that really like harsh lateral movement and everything, but it hasn't like affected anything too badly, so it's not a big deal. And then in the back right here, we just have some additional structure. This is great for heel lockdown and heel containment, which is what real ankle support is about. So you want to be able to keep this part of your foot on the footbed, because this is not a natural platform for you to be standing on. You're lifted off the ground quite a bit, especially in these guys. These guys are pretty thick, and this area right here does a great job of that. Now the fit of these guys, they do fit true to size. Inside here, there's a lot of additional padding and sculpting, so you get it really low down here, right here, so it'll really kind of cup and keep your heel contained. So when you slide these guys on, like the first time I put them on, they didn't feel like perfect or anything, but every time I put them on since then, like since breaking them in, they just feel like they fit my feet perfectly. And then you also have this asymmetrical offset lacing. Normally this would be straight down. Instead, they move this over to the side and they have all of these nylon lace loops. So when you really yank those things up, these guys are going into the footbed right here, like a bridge, what Flywire essentially does, but I like the nylon a little bit better. It's a little bit stronger. And so when you yank these guys up real tight and everything, it does a great job of being able to, you know, really lock you in. This rear cable right there is the thing that's really drawing you into the heel, and again, it does a great job of that. It does so good at that I like playing in low tops. These are clearly not lows, so I don't even use this top eyelet, and for me it works out perfectly. Sometimes when you have a shoe like that, it'll kind of give you a little bit of a heel slip feeling, or like your heel's gonna pop out of there. These guys, they don't have that. Now everything that we just talked about, that all really plays into the support aspect. If your traction kind of sucks, it'll be a little bit iffy on the support side. If your cushion's too mushy, that can also affect support. If the fit is sloppy, can also affect support. If the materials stretch too much. KD11, looking at you. You're like the black sheep of the bunch. If you have materials like that, again, sloppy fit, it'll all cause you to kind of like have like a weird feeling in your shoe. It won't give you all of the support that you're supposed to have. Again, wearing something like this is not natural, especially when you're raised. Like the cushion alone, 10 millimeters, you're probably another few millimeters off the ground on top of that. So it's not a natural kind of like setting to be like that. And when you have all of those different separate features all working together, that really do help support the entire body, all that stuff, it works really well. Now the heel area is nice and rounded. It's not super rounded, but it's rounded just enough, and it's also soft enough with that break right there, so where if I'm going to kind of slow down, it's not a hard stop and everything. It kind of like eases me into it, almost like an airbag if you got in a car accident. It's like that kind of feeling. So you're gonna be able to brake, and then again, everything around here very wide, stable, outrigger, all that stuff. The cushion's good feeling, but not too mushy to where when you are stopping and stepping in, you're gonna like kind of like tip over or roll over. That's a problem that I had in the LeBron 15s. All of that stuff, again, with the support and everything, you're gonna kind of like break into your shot, and then boom, you're ready to go. Your feet are set. It's a really simple thing, but it's hard to get down right, and Nike killed it with these guys. These things are just fantastic all the way around. We do have some more stuff to talk about as far as like pricing, maybe weight, maybe a direct comparison with the Alpha Dunk, which I unfortunately didn't bring with me. So we're gonna head over to the studio, aka the garage, and we're gonna just talk a little bit more about it. Hopefully I don't brick this shot, and it's not even, it's a brick. It happens, guys, it happens. Hope that I don't miss this. If I do, that would suck. All right, so we are back in the studio. Hopefully you liked the review style that we did. If you did like that style of review, let us know in the comments section. Also let us know by hitting the thumbs up button. It would help us out quite a bit. But we got two shoes right here now, and these are the two guys, the Alpha Dunk and it's the Zoom Rise. These are essentially derivatives of one another. This one released first, so I'll just say that this is the derivative or upgrade to this guy right here. They do play very similarly. I only got 1 3-hour run in these so far, but it was a good one. I really did like the shoe and everything, even though these are built for a big guy, and you can definitely tell in comparison to one another. So me running around the floor, these are just a little bit more flexible.
This reminds me of, you know how there's always like a this or a that? These are your Betty and Veronicas, and it seems like you're a Betty, not so much a Veronica.
Why are these a Veronica?
Well, one, the price,
Yo,
180.
180 for these guys versus 140. The funny thing is that for a team shoe, everybody was like 140, including me. You're like 140 for a team shoe, but I guess when you compare it to 180, you're kind of like 140 is good. The cool thing is that both of these shoes are extremely wide in the forefoot. So everything that I said about these as far as being able to maneuver, plant your feet, or reestablish your footing, and then being able to do whatever it is that you're gonna do, whether it's, you know, catch and shoot, or you are gonna catch, pump fake, jab step, and drop back or whatever, and then hit your shot, or just simply just go in and drive to the rim or whatever. Both of these gonna carry or cover you in that forefoot area in terms of stability, which is something that I really love. And I think that that's something that is almost like taken for granted, especially if you are going to compare it to a shoe like the KD12, which is a great shoe. Very slender though.
Well, this just seems awesome because it sounds like it caters to more people.
That's the thing that I was impressed with these guys, and these guys, because these essentially like look like a big guy shoe. They're bulky, they're thick, they're chunky, there's a ton of cushion, all that stuff, but they don't play like that. They play really well once you break them in. They feel fantastic. Much like a Hyperdunk, like it's an everyman shoe. So that pretty much takes care of it for the performance review on these guys right here, the Nike Zoom Rise. Stay tuned for the performance review on these guys. Give me another couple of weeks with these. That way I can really like test them out and stuff, because, you know, first run was great, but I do want to play with them on different courts and all of that stuff like I normally do, and then I will come back with a full review on those guys. Let us know what you guys think again about what we did earlier. Did you like it? Did you not? If you need any more information, you can click the link in the description box below. It'll head you over to WearTesters.com. You can see their price, their weight, their scores. We're also tagging this onto Jalik's review. He's one of our writers, so you can read his thoughts, and he actually really liked the shoe too, so I think that that's great that two of us are kind of like on the same page and everything. And also, if you wanted to join WearTesters, if you wanted to help us out, if you wanted to be one of the reasons why we're able to do stuff like this for everybody for free, then click the link in the description box below. It'll head you over to WearTesters.com, where you can read all about what it means to be a WearTesters Discord community member. It's a great place, great atmosphere, nothing like the rest of the internet, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support. Anything that you'd like to add? She's just here to look good.